So here we are at White River.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm saying the coral reef is older than mankind. I think it's more than 100 million years old. And because of what we call this development of the young entrepreneurs with money, they get the choicest lands to buy along the waterway, which should not be sold to anybody that close in, because all of those rocks came out of the ocean. Now they have blasted it, all in the name of development, build these hotels on there, and all their toilets with all the nasty chemicals that they're using in the hotels and in the guest houses gets washed into the ocean, and that is one of the wickedest destroyer of the coral reef.
Yes.
Man has destroyed it. I'm going to tell you another story of Greenpeace. You remember that set of people who stood up in defiance against the ships that were coming out of Europe and the rest of them and dumping their crap in the Caribbean?
Emptying their bilges.
Eh?
Emptying their bilges.
Okay, and you know what they had? They were dumping that toxic waste. Somebody in South America was being paid, some government, to get this stuff down there. And the lady, when they came through our waters here, the fishes in the river died, and on the beaches, we lost thousands of pounds of these small parrots and the angelfish that I'm telling you about. They died from all of that, and our government knew what was happening. Here's a third one, fourth one. The fourth one is Gaiquat, Paraqua, all the stuff that they use to kill bugs and aphids, and farmers use it in their gardens. My lady, when it gets washed into the table, the water table, every striking thing gets killed, man. These are producing cancer agent, producing stuff.
When did you notice the coral reef starting to really, when did you notice like the worst decline?
The worst decline started, all right, we had more than in any one morning from in front of Jamaica in there. You had a school of what we call big parrots, you know, the blues and the reds and the greens. There was a school of fish in there, my lady. The smallest one would give you about 9 pounds. I'm telling you what I know. I'm not talking from anybody's talk or experience. And when we went there as kids, our little spare guns was this. You were afraid to shoot them because they were chewing the reef down, parrotfish, you know, cutting the reefs, cleaning the rust and all of that from it, all the aphids and bugs, cleaning them. My lady, in less than 10 years, nobody knew where they went. Nobody, my lady, thousands of pounds of this giant parrotfish.
So they weren't coming up on shore dead, they just disappeared.
My lady, they disappeared for some reason, I don't know why. Thousands of pounds of them, you know. Big in the morning, my lady, it was like on the coral reef, being alive then. You could listen to them chopping the reef down. It was like cows grazing in the pasture.
Right.
My lady, majestic beauty. The hue was so beautiful.
Yes.
Of all of them swimming and going down and eating and picking. And I'd follow them all the way down to Jamaica Grand. You see where the inside reef is? That's where they stop. And then where the ship is at there, on the other side, you had another school going down to Dunn's River. Wow. All the way down to Miami Bay. My lady, the entire reef was vibrant. Now, what I found out, that some of your laws from outside of Jamaica,
right,
should be wrapped up and dumped somewhere where nobody can find it. Your FDA and your RDA. You know what that means? Food and Drug Administration.
yes,
They have outlawed in their country the usage of Paraqua,
yes,
Gaiquat,
yes,
and all the rest of harsh chemicals not to be used on their farmlands. Where do they ship them? In the Caribbean, my lady. And we as assholes, beg your pardon, bite our government bite. And I have a friend like yourself, she's a farmer. A nice lady. She has lots of land and she's the breadwinner of her family. Her kids go to school. I think more or less her husband died. And the lady has her kids to come help her in the afternoons in the garden. Now she goes in the mornings and she cuts the bushes away. How do you think she cut the bushes away?
With a machete.
But guess what she did like the day before? She sprayed it.
So
Gramaxone. And another one. Wicked than all of them that you hear them. Roundup.
yeah.
And the kids came home from school and couldn't find their mom. And when they went into the bushes looking for her, she was knocked out of her senses. They had to rush her to the hospital in Maypen. Roundup, my lady, can kill thousands of people without it touching your skin. Just the inhaler.
Jackie was a friend.
Yeah.
Jackie, yeah. Jackie.
Yes, indeed.
So,
That seems so good. I don't want to be Jackie.
yeah, you're good, man. You're good, cuz. So, here goes another thing. Right across the street, there's a hotel they call Rio Blanco.
Yeah.
You know Rio Blanco?
Yes.
Okay. There's a container there that they used to have feces that regurgitate in tank. That I don't know what it smells like crazy in the afternoons when I used to put my boat up. And like you and I, the lady next door, like let's say you are the lady next door there, right across the bridge there. She has a shop that sells food stuff to all of us. We go and we buy. And that evening the tank like crazy. And she picked up her phone and called the people down at the health department, the nutrients, and the guys came up and went over and trounced them over Rio Blanco. And my lady, I hurriedly called my cousin and got out of there. Now remember, I'm going home and I'm leaving all the trees green and beautiful. All the leaves are on them, and in the 5 o'clock in the morning when I come down, every effing tree along the riverbank up there, all over it, all the leaves are dead, my lady. In one night, all the leaves and the trees died, my lady. And I turned to my friend and says, what is happening? She says, Lipton, be thankful that you came and saw me here. He said, why? She says, Lipton, they pour chemicals inside the shit tank in Rio Blanco, and my lady, it busted everybody loose up. Could have killed them.
Yes.
Now your laws have outdated these chemicals, harsh chemicals.
Yes.
And yet somebody is bright enough and bold enough to send them into the Caribbean.
Because it's about greed.
See him, sir? All about the money.
Yes.
Which is wrong. Now, I'm saying the same ship that was coming in through the Caribbean, my lady, when it passed, a boat of pink eye, I never forget. A great big shot of pink eye hit Jamaica that year. When Greenpeace came out in war against that ship, we had a boat of pink eye. The whole entire Jamaica was affected. You know what saved us? The salt water.
Yes. Because it's life-giving.
You hear me? We had to go down there. Schools were all closed over Jamaica.
Yeah, it's so infectious.
Lady, right now, some of the stuff that you see them shipping down there at the bauxite plant, that white mar that they used to using for dry walls and all that, my lady, that is also one of the greatest ways to bleach the coral reef. I had to call NEPA and get the office to get NEPA down here, and I took him down in the boat, and she had to go up there with her bosses from Kingston. I drove underneath the bridge there, and she had to call the bosses from Kingston, and they were down here in 2 shakes of a ducktail, and they came down and shut the damn plant down there with that white marl. Now, last couple of weeks ago, I was talking to Cookie, and they went to a seminar up in Paraqua and was told when they ask, why is the marl boat, when they're taking the marl out of Ocheres, it's not covered. Only to come back and tell me, I think somebody must have been pussyfooting around when they told him that they take the marl, that marl, the residue, what's left there, and take it someplace and dump it in the ocean up there. Much to the anger of all the cops who were up there as marine men, when they were told by wardens in Aracabesa that was what was happening. And I'm saying, how could they be so damn stupid to be saying this thing, and they themselves had the power to shut them down?
Right.
Why did they even open up the damn mouths?
Right.
They should have shut them down.
Right.
And the cops now are thinking of getting NEPA to look into that. The same damn thing over on South Side that has been destroyed, you know.
In Elizabeth and St. Elizabeth?
Yes, my lady, over where you hear them talk about, there's that island where everybody goes to fish. Pedro Keys. That's destroyed, my lady.
Well, so what do you see as a way to help bring back the coral reefs?
To bring back the coral reef is dump the old irons, get irons and dump them. And people, the bright set of scientists, will have to, because, my lady, no, right now the corals are bleaching. They're turning white. The ones that grow, they grow and turn white, and then they'll go back and take another time. My lady, the earth is older than mankind. And we, with our own greed and selfishness, has destroyed it. In our lifetime, we will never live to see 100 million years. And the coral reef is older than 100 million years.
So do you see anything they're doing as a help? I mean, is that anything actually going to change? Are we going to ever see fan coral? Or are we going to ever see the pinks and the blues and the greens?
They will come back, my lady, but when?
After mankind is gone.
Boy, look, so many, it's a different world. Will we be here? I don't think so.
Yeah.
My lady, it's a sad, sad, sad thing. Here's another one again. In the mountains, you used to have, your father owns a piece of land, my daddy owns a piece of land. Yours is close to the water side, in a gully. You can see where trappings of sand and silt came down there, but that's the piece of land you inherited. It's so close to the water. Nothing has ever happened there because all your old folks and relatives tell you, you can put your house there. You just built your house in a water gully. Nothing happened there for 40 years. Nothing happened there for 40 years, right? All right. All of a sudden, there was only 20 houses in the mountains. Hi, how you doing? There are 20 houses in the mountains when we were kids, yeah? The population, everybody screw everybody in the night so they have more babies. The population has grown to a crescendo of, Jesus, where did all these kids come from? Barn shop. We know where they come from. So now it was 20 houses, now it's 200,000 houses. Your house that you built into the gully, that the piece of land. I'm yelling to you, where are you going this hour of the night? I'm going to take a dump inside the outside toilet. You have never seen water like that in your life in over 40 years. And I can hear the screaming coming from out of the shit house with you sitting on the seat. And I'm saying, come on, help me, Lipton. And you're rushing down the river, sitting on your out. No, you're going to laugh. It is true. You're washing away. No, you know how many people have lost their lives in these houses?
From river wash?
My lady, too many houses are now being built in the mountains, in areas that should have been left alone. Don't build no houses in there.
Eventually water's coming.
Lord Jesus, my lady, it was only in an hour. You'd have a gallon and a half, rough guesstimate, a gallon and a half, 1 hour's of rain. We were only 20 houses. Now it's 20,000 houses. Boy, you got a whole ocean coming from out of the mountains.
Right.
And my lady, I can tell you this, it's factual. I'm sitting up there in my boat, and there's a car lot on the other side of that place up there. the wholesale store. And 2 car lots, you know. And would you believe me? And the river comes down, banks are sold bank to bank. Brand new cars are coming down through that gully up
Right down through the water.
right through the water, and when it got down there, brand new tercels, 3 brand new tercels, bust loose, 1 white, 1 blue, and 1 red. And there were 3 guys on the white one climbed out when they hit the water, when they hit that water coming up there, and they couldn't do nothing with it. They climbed out of the car, it seems like they couldn't swim, and they climbed on top of the car. And they were yelling, and I hollered to my buddies on the other side of the river, and I said, give them a hand now. And they tossed the rope to the guy in the white suit. And the guy grabbed it, and I turned to him and said, don't let go. And I said to the rest of the guys, grab your brethren. And I grab you, and you're holding onto the rope. And the other one, grab the other guy. And we said, stay steady. Now we're gonna pull, and when we pull, don't let go. And we pull them to shore. The lady, when we came down, the morning, and everything was gone back to normal. 3 days after it went back to normal. Part of that bridge, the old bridge, is sitting right there in 80 feet of water, right there on the beach. Right now, as I tell you, it's there sitting down there. And it's only when the water gets real wicked
That you see it. Well, so why don't they take all these old concrete structures and dump them out here outside the reef? You know, these big pieces, they got the steel and concrete all around them. Like I see the...
That's a good one. What will they do it?
Right.
You know what I mean? Everybody, I think you guys really do know how to preserve your areas throughout the world. I was even looking at yesterday, New York being flooded. I know New York is an island, but what's happening there?
Exactly.
Too many people live in New York, for crying out loud. Where's all the pieces going? Back to the ocean?
Exactly.
One guy said to me, Lefton, it's one of the most amazing things to come to New York. I said, it's now, what we are now advertising is rat tourism. He says it's one of the greatest things to come to New York and see the rats going between the buildings. Thousands of them climbing over each other and climbing up the drain pipes and up the walls. And so I says, rat tourism, that's what's turning everybody on to go to New York. He says that's one of the biggest businesses now in New York. And I'm saying, Jesus Christ, man, leptospirosis is going to kill all of you. I keep on saying to him, you got to be careful, man. And it's happening here in slowly too. We're seeing some big ass rats.
Yeah, I saw one this morning. So how long have you worked in the sanctuary?
We started, this year is going to make it 6 years. We started out passing the questionnaires that they wanted. The whole truth of what they asked for, one of the main points was, how can we restore the reef back to its former glory by way of fishing? I said to the lady, the only way we have to learn to not eat everything that moves like we were Koreans in former life. Catch and release. Jesus Christ, man. It's as if I took 10 sticks and plugged up 10 people's butthole. Everybody was like furious. Hornets' nests flying out of their noses. I said, if you eat everything, what are you going to have next year? Or 10 years from now? I says, catch and release, you can't eat everything.